Hi everyone, this is Tanya the Lady Strange. Welcome to another weekly collective reading starting today, March 26th to April 4th of 2026. That's how my readings are guided, and I know that my readings reach the collective that it's meant to. In a world that's often generated and created by AI and stuff, it makes things more favorable. Things need to be more real and face more real and have clearer perception. That's where also the reading will come in this week. And with the guidances, I've already pulled cards as I have been doing recently in the thing of saving time, reference, and getting a more clearer message versus being rambly and discombobulated. More mindful, more intentional, as we all should be instead of sticking our heads in the sand. As painful and disconcerting as this world and humanity is, it's also great to face the truth with discernment so that way you can move through it in a more healthy, empowered, and effective way, not only for yourself, but those things that actually matter in this human life experience and spiritual experience. In my case, they're one and the same. So this week, the crystal to start off with, I was guided to pull before the reading as I was getting the cards ready and the decks I was going to use, as they do change or stay the same. It just all depends. I listen to my guides and my intuition, first and foremost myself, but also the powers that be that I work with, walk with, entities, deities, Mother Nature, and just the universe herself. Everything's intertwined in some shape or form. And with that being said, the crystal of the guidance this week, that it's part of the message, that's the opener and sets the tone for the reading, but also energies that this collective may embody, carry with them, use to their advantage, certain things that may come to their disadvantage, or to be mindful and aware of. This is Rainbow Aura Quartz. Now, Rainbow Aura Quartz is actually man made, meaning the elements and the components are actually natural, but they're fused together by chemical and laboratory bonding and different processes. So this one is clear quartz as the basal foundation, and then outside of it is bonded with either typically titanium or gold or both. Now, this is a beautiful specimen I found in the past couple years into my extensive collection, as that's one of the many things I work with as being an energetic witch, among all the other labels and things I carry. I identify across the board just as a left-hand practitioner that carries a huge umbrella as does being a human and a woman. So basically, this is the guidance this week is going to be this stone carries a high vibration because of its components, its makeup, and its creation. Now, this collective, obviously, no matter what your life experience is, how you identify whether it's man or woman, that your age, your range, your life experiences, your magical or your atheistic path, whatever it is, and whatever guides for you on this ever winding road of life, that's fine. To each our own. So that's what this is saying. But it's also saying, because look at the beautiful rainbow colors and golden flashes, it's showing show yourself and embrace all your true colors of your experience from the beginning of this incarnation into the present and into the future, which is this week and this foreseeable future. That's all we have. That's what we can do day to day in this human life experience, is to honor and cherish what we have for ourselves and each other. It's the little things that make up the bigger things, honestly. And excuse me, and the spectrum being the colors here as you see the spectrum. Now, if you do not have Rainbow Aura Quartz, you can use regular quartz. Regular quartz can be programmed to anything you want it to be. If you have gold, if you have titanium or components of both, it's what you create in your magic. That's what this is saying. So it's saying use the basis of yourself and your experience, but you are the creator or creatrix of your experiences, much like what's going to come up here. So embrace the full spectrum of this human life experience that we're going to live in this week. that we have continued to live in, and as we move forward, what we want to create. But embrace our realities and all the spectrums of ourselves, and not the preconceived notions and expectations of what cultures and what life and what's been engraved and imbued to us. um, like I said, do not be, and most of us, many of us say, do not be a sheep. Why be a sheep when you can be a wolf? Be yourself. Be a peacock in all your spectrums and your experiences, no matter what you can do, what you can't do, and both. That's what it is. It's embracing your reality and what you have to offer to your experience in the world. So that's a big message and a highly vibrational message that ties into the spiritual and to the human life experience, the material, and our humanity. And this week, the above, the card from the top, from this beautiful, lovely Thoth Tarot, my first deck. This is my first deck. I got her almost 30 years ago. She's been through many wars, battles, learning interactions with myself, and so many learning journeys as I continue to learn. The most beautiful deck, in my opinion, and my experiences, and I learn so much each time I pick her up and notice new things. And notice new things about myself and my spirituality. So, with that being said, with this beautiful Thoth, the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is swords are air cards. Well, yes, but elemental, the element of air when it comes to the four directional or cardinal elements in this experience, as is Mother Earth. So this is the Queen of Swords is saying this week, on the surface you need to have discernment. Be analytical and logical, but and stand in your authority and your truth of what you know is truth. Cut away what's not serving you, those experiences, those outside influences that maybe are pulling you down. Um, know your truth. Speak your truth, but without being overbearing. It's more about being very logical, straightforward, certain, and having a certainty and not wavering from that. Keep this, she has her sword down, and so you don't always have to be so defensive, but she's ready to wield it when necessary. So be willing to wield your voice, your truth, and your wisdom when necessary, but also um, look down on the world experiences with not in a negative way, but with a clear perspective, having perspective over your life, your experiences as you move through the different experiences this week. That's going to make it an effective, empowered week. And my cards roll. And this week, what underlies from the bottom of the deck that goes in conjunction with that Queen of Swords message of discernment and our message of that beautiful, lovely Rainbow Aura Quartz is the Empress. The Empress is the creatrix of the tarot, in my opinion. She is the mother, the nurturer, like Mother Earth that we live in, that we interact with. Our mothers, no matter whether they are our birth mothers or those that still mother us, our friends, those in this life, are the goddesses on that, and just the world itself and ourselves. But it's also about saying to swim through with discernment with that Queen of Swords, but also being able to marry in that nurturing energies for ourselves and each other with that clear discernment. It takes a lot to live through this experience as humans in this ever changing and ever more difficult day to day human life experience that we're all experiencing no matter where we are in this world. But we can create what we want. We can help each other in small and big ways, and we do. And we do and continue to move through the tides of life, emotions with logic, clarity, but also having clear compassion and feeling, most of all for ourselves, and that does trickle out. So create this week through clear discernment and logic and clarity. And next, since I was guided to use two tarots this week, it's the beautiful I can't talk, Ritual Tarot by Tiara May. This is the Eight of Cups. So this goes with the messages and has been the message for this collective for quite a while for the past several weeks, months, and years as I've been reading here on YouTube and just overall in the relative day to day with people I interact with and have the pleasure of reading for and sharing my magic with. And so this Eight of Cups is saying continuously, what are you leaving behind? What is falling away? But what are you consciously making fall away that's going to make space and room? This collective is very much enlightened, full of wisdom, and is learning more about what needs to be let go to move forward on their human life and spiritual experience. This collective, no matter what their path is very spiritual and in tune with themselves and with each other. Sometimes that is to a detriment, and sometimes we hold on to our relationships, experiences, and feelings too much. That's where we need to be more like that Queen of Swords and alchemize those elements and integrate those in a healthy way. That's going to be this week. What journey are we on? What do we leave behind? And what do we need to embrace? What do we need to watch for? What do we need to be mindful of? But just see through that veil and look into clarity. That's going to be this week. And we have from the Haunted Manor Oracle to wrap this message up. The advice is to pause and rest. So that is knowing with that logical truth without being overly authoritative, just standing in your authority without having to wield your sword so much, but being prepared to do so. Pause and rest as needed and necessary, and take those deep breaths, moments, minutes, hours, if need be, to integrate what's coming through and what you've already experienced and what this life is dealing. And the other oracle card, but also is clarifying and wrapping up this message with advice, is stairs. So it's possible. So I do like this because, well, this is my favorite oracle deck of all time. But as you can see through, it's like the doorway. You're peering through the portal to the light. Now, light is, there's darkness in the light and there's light in the darkness. But there's always possibilities and extensive possibilities, and all things lead, in many cases, to the same source, regardless of the past or experiences or how we have to change course. So anything's possible. Learn that you can do anything possible if you put your mind and energy to it, or just be mindful to flow through it. Sorry about that. And to create and nurture and discern. And remember, it's a journey, not just a destination. Life changes, we change. That's the empowerment of this week, to reflect and look forward to the foreseeable future. That's all we each have. And with that being said, thanks for watching. If this message resonates with you, please like, comment, subscribe, as it helps my channel grow. Plus, I love hearing from you and interacting with you as I do with others. And of course, just thanks being here and stay strange.